Good evening and welcome to this edition of Cage Full Throttle. Once again, we bring you news and reports and, of course, our topics from this podcast. With me tonight is Matt Josie. Good evening, Matt.
Good evening, Andy.
And our panellists, I finally got to put a name to a face. It's Jordan Hollands. Good evening, Jordan.
Good evening, Andy. Good evening, Matt. And good evening, everyone else.
And we start, as always, with our reports from the Aldershot final meeting of the season on the 29th of October, the Back to Basic Bangers. An incredible turnout of 78 cars, with 3 of the late-shape VW Beetles, a Mark III Cavalier, not many of those still about these days, and Mike Parry never failed to impress with a Citroen BX. And 246 Bertie Jr. even went to go slightly different with a Mark II Ford Fiesta. So a variety of cars in Back to Basics, which is always great to see at any meeting. Plenty of the drivers also sponsoring Cage as well. And certainly the high talking point from heat number 1 was Colin Quinnell, 468, who was one of the 3 VW Beetles out that afternoon, that caught fire, a big crash coming out of the Aldershot bend on turn 4. Overall, though, absolutely cracking meeting regarding bangers, and at every race, absolute carnage right through to the end. Some good wins on the day as well. No surprise, 760. Joey Reynolds, certainly the Heat 1 winner, with Heat 2 going away to 591. Aaron Morris been a regular throughout the year in Back to Basics, and taking wins along the way. Heat 3 was Patrick Daniel Allen in 128, and Heat 4 saw Lou Richardson, another one that's been a regular for Back to Basics throughout the year, taking Heat 4, with Joey taking the final, and Ian Pullen in a full KA, battling out to the bitter end for the Destruction Derby. So overall, an excellent way to end a season at Aldershot this year. So all 3 of us were there on hand, and I think we all went away very impressed with what we saw.
Yeah, we certainly did. Obviously, we were all there together. But a fantastic end to a fantastic year of Back to Basic racing at Aldershot Raceway. Some fantastic turnouts, some machinery and big crashes. And we'd just like to thank everyone for supporting Cage on their cars throughout the year. Aldershot has certainly seemed like the home of Cage this year, with plenty of support. So thank you to everyone that has supported us throughout the year. But like I say, a fantastic year of bangers at Aldershot.
Yeah, sorry, Andy. Yeah, just echoing that, you know. It was my first time actually seeing any form of Back to Basic bangers, and actually really surprised me, to be honest. I was expecting them to be a little bit timid first off, but wow, like, the heats were absolutely crazy. Some really good action in them, you know. Like Andy said, Colin Quinnell's car catching fire in Heat 1. I think in the second heat of the day, you had a mini track blockage on the exit of turn 2. And a great DD to finish off the meeting as well, in the dark as well, at Aldershot.
Which was very weird, because obviously it didn't have proper temporary lighting. There were 3 little square sort of lights. But like I say, it was a fantastic meeting. You'd normally expect the final and DD to be the best events, and the heats didn't disappoint. They weren't obviously, I'd say, carnage, but plenty going on, plenty of jack-ups and the odd accident sort of thing happening. But yeah, it's been a mixed year for Aldershot. Obviously, the Nationals didn't do quite as well, but the Back to Basics have been superb all year round, which I think we can all agree.
Yep, definitely.
It must be said, though, from obviously it's 78 cars, it was amazing actually how many track blockages there were, because there was one coming out of the Aldershot bend, even obviously where Colin Quinnell was involved. He was blocked within cars. And as you say, there was one coming out of the back straight as well throughout the course of the afternoon. They're just constant track blockages for such a small track. And I think that's what makes it.
And Lauren Annette's going in reverse again.
Yeah,
yet again.
That girl, she's got a strong backbone, that girl, for going in reverse.
I sort of missed it. I glanced over it and was like, oh my god, yet again she's done it. But top effort, yet again.
She did promise, I think, didn't she, on Facebook leading up to it, I saw. So she never disappoints either, does she?
She doesn't. No, she doesn't.
She's a lady to her word, I'll give her that. And obviously the ending of that was the fireworks display. And I've got to say, that was an impressive end to the fireworks.
Better than what I was better than what I was expecting. Certainly.
Yeah, I've got to agree.
Because I was expecting a little tiny... I was not a tiny one, but I wasn't expecting quite as much as what we got. So I was pleasantly surprised.
And also as well on that weekend was the Stan Lake Bonfire Bash, which, Matt, you went to and saw the action from there.
Yeah, overall a brilliant meeting. Of course, the annual Bonfire Bash for under and over national bangers. The final turnout was 33 unders and around 21, maybe 22 overs. It was not looking great for the overs to start with. Not too many cool cars to start off with, but a Mark III Granada Hearse 4882 and a Mazda RX-8 for the 83 car. So a very modern, fast car out there. But the last Unlimited that rolled into the pits was that gorgeous 1957 Mercury from 622 Gary Webb, which was absolutely stunning. So that was easily the best car, not only of the meeting at Stan Lake, but probably of the entire weekend, including the Firecracker. In the unders, nothing much other than a pair of Ford Cougars. But in the unders, I think the highlights of the day were certainly the 8 Gladiators and the 2 Predators. The first unders heat was absolute carnage, with the Gladiators and Team TLC going toe-to-toe, causing lots of action on track. The overs were very tame up until the final, which included a wrecking train and that hearse of 882 getting blitzed by 625 Josh Gooch. Again, I've got to say, every unders race was absolutely spectacular. All the Gladiators, Predators and Team TLC put on a good show by bringing their cars back onto track every race, and it was just non-stop in the unders. And like I said, the overs were tame up until the final DD, but the unders all day were absolutely excellent. So also mentioned to 538 Curtis Salvage, who in the unders took on the Gladiators on Oppo as well. So overall for a good meeting, Andy.
And also that weekend was the Gala Night at Arlington just the following day. Before that, on the 28th of October. Again, it was back to basic bangers. A good turnout as well, which was impressive for Arlington, which has seen low numbers throughout the Wednesday nights. But again, an excellent show with some good material on hand as well, including a Renault Kangoo van from 737 from Team Wonky Donkey, bringing out something slightly unusual. And also there was a VW Beetle on hand that night as well, from 110 as well. So again, the Beetles become very popular cars, and of course is one of our talking points of tonight's meeting. Plenty of action throughout the course of the evening, with also a very old Datsun Sunny coming out from 384 bad boy Liam Conway that night as well. As I say, the action, certainly the typical back to basic bangers, which ended with a spectacular destruction derby as well. So wins from that night came in the form of heat number 1, which, no surprise, it was that man again, Joey Reynolds in 760. Joey Reynolds again taking the first heat. Second heat taken by number 80, Matt Nutley. Heat 3 saw Toby Webb in 130. Heat 4 saw Thomas Beckett in 413. T-Boy Tom Farron also taking a win as well, with the final going away to 299 Gary Power. So a great night of action, and also ended with a spectacular fireworks display to end another season at the Arlington Raceway in Eastbourne. Then we move on to the Ipswich Gala Nights, which once again brought out plenty of bangers in tow. It was nice to see the numbers well and truly up in the bangers. This time it was actual Speedsworth bangers, so lots of focuses, lots of Civics, the usual thing you see at most banger meetings up there at Ipswich. And also they did have some very beautiful painted cars as well, which came out that night, which saw, of course, one of the smartest cars in my eyes, which quite surprised it didn't actually win one of the 3 Smart Car Awards that night. Those who know me obviously saw that. Was Martin Kent's 307. Beautiful artwork on his Vauxhall Astra, which saw obviously a tribute to all those that were involved in Pearl Harbor, and absolutely wonderful if you try and track down pictures from that evening. So lots of smart cars throughout the course of the evening as well, including one from the Orange Army, which was one remembering, of course, one of our track marshals, Switch Chops, Carl Williams, who was sadly taken from us earlier in the year. His brother actually came out in a banger that night and was in racing in his honour. Of Carl's family also, Chops' family were also there to pick top 3 painted cars. So, and of course, everyone went to town on their cars that night. Some good racing throughout the course of the evening, which saw more race wins coming away from Craig Thurlow, one of our smart car winners that night in 385. Our very own little dreamer, Jack Anscombe from 94, taking Heat 2. And Corndale, Scott Cornish in 415, one of 4 of the Midnight Runners, including Boxer Jack, was there that night as well. And Corndog took heat number 3. And then it was Mickey Cornish in 415 taking the final. So a good turnout of cars, just in the mid-80s, turned up in the end to bring a brilliant end to a Gala Night. And certainly don't forget, of course, their well final coming up in the 18th of November. We'll speak more about later on. Now I'm going to hand you over to Jordan, who's on hand to give us an insight into the following day at the Reader Essex Firecracker.
Yes, thank you, Andy. And Firecracker 26 it was at Arena Essex Raceway, where around 40 unlimited national bangers took to the track. And that actually, I think, was a pretty accurate booking list, which in this day and age is always good to see. Paul Corpiella returned his world final yank, which got ruined in the first race. It caught a pit post on turn 3 before getting a hit by Lee Macy, Mad Mace, in his used Ford Scorpio limo. Gary Lee of Team TMT had a beautiful Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser, which also won the Most Unusual Car of the Day award. He put that to good use, putting in some really good hits, and at the end of the meeting, the front end was completely bent up. He wasn't the only one, though, to have an unusual car. 291, Mickey Turner, for the second year running at Firecracker, had a Lincoln Town limo, which got followed in really hard in the final, over on Lizzie's Bend on turns 1 and 2. TMT had 2 taxis, I think. And I think both of them cars and Gary Lee went on opposite in the final, causing mayhem as well. 442, Ricky Deans had a used Mark II saloon for that meeting, and he got jacked up by TMT and Midnight Runners in the DD. So overall, it actually didn't look like it was a bad day at Arena, despite the poor numbers. Race wins that day. Like I said, Gary Lee getting the unusual car of the day. Mickey Turner getting the best paint job for that sublime Lincoln Town car limo. Heat 1 went the way of Boxer Jack, Jason Jackson, in 331, with the special award going to 662 Jamie Harding. Heat 2 went the way of Dave Ball. His first meeting this season and his first race win. The special award in Heat 2 going the way of West Country Man, 341 Andrew Jones. But the main event, the Firecracker final, went to that man again, 331 Boxer Jack, Jason Jackson, adding another title to his impressive tally, with the special award in that race going to 123 Tony Hutton. The DD saw the race win go to 552 Black Nuts, Carl Douglas, with 341 Jonesy, Andrew Jones being the last car running, with the best record of the meeting going to 74 Adam Hitchcock, who made his way up from Exeter to race. So like I said, it didn't look like a bad day at Arena despite the poor numbers.
So, obviously, with the firecracker, obviously, there's a lot of pressure on it to be in the same meeting. Do you think it lived up to expectations despite the low turnout?
Yeah, I think it actually passed many people's expectations with a lot of people saying it's nothing more than a domestic nowadays, but I think in some ways it's a little bit more special than just your average unlimited national banger meeting, because it certainly with Gary Lee and Mickey Turner pulling out them two beautiful yanks for the meeting, it does in a way show you that the meeting does still mean something to drivers. Yeah.
I think that's very important because obviously with a low turnout, you expect a bit of crashing at least, but so it was a good day overall. It was obviously very pleasing. So it was a good meeting. So that's good to hear. Obviously, what was your favourite car of the day? Do you think?
Well, I don't know. Look, waking up on Sunday morning and seeing the Gary Lee car on Facebook, that was pretty cool to see. Because I must admit, I thought it would just be your normal mix of unlimited national bangers. You know, Mercedes, Scorpios, a Lexus maybe. But when I saw that, I did kind of feel a bit like an old firecracker buzz in a weird way.
Yeah. In this day and age, obviously that's quite a good thing.
Yeah, in this day and age, yeah, it is a good thing. So yeah.
So Gary Lee's, I think, we all agree is probably the best car of the day from Firecracker 26. But 26 years of Firecracker, that's gone quick. That's pretty insane now.
It is as well, and I must say as well, a decent crowd at Arena as well. I think helped by the fireworks, a lot of families being there with younger kids, but yeah, a lot of first timers there, so hopefully they enjoyed it as well.
And hopefully it can build next year as well. Now we move on to the news, and we kick things off with quite an interesting debate here. Big van bangers are being considered for the Hednesford Civil War in January. What do we think of that?
I personally think, yeah, it's a good idea. It's something different. It's a break from the norm. But seeing how many vans we get at most domestic van meetings now, I reckon it's going to be quite hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did say instantly, no, don't do it. But then again, how many people are going to find big unlimited bangers these days?
Yeah, exactly. And once this topic got started on Oval Chat a week or so ago, the backlash was insane. A lot of people were saying no to it straight away, which I can understand. Big vans would be quite hard to implement into the meeting. But obviously I'm a big van lover anyway, so I'm going to say yes to it no matter what. But there's something about 30 to 40 big vans going toe-to-toe, doing each other, even if it's mostly transits and LDVs, obviously no ambulances, ice cream vans, that kind of thing, but just piling into each other. I think that'd be amazing. I don't think it'll happen, but I'd like it to happen. I think that's my clear view on it, but I'd love to see that though. And even the squad would be interested as well, which would be quite cool if they went out to that. So that'd be very cool. What do you think, Jordan? Are you for or against big vans at Civil War?
I'm completely for them.
Ooh.
But I don't think it'll work, and I don't think it will happen purely for the reasons that you and Andy have already said. And numbers are pretty poor for big van bangers, anyway, and that's nothing against drivers. It's just because they're hard to find. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think it'll happen, but I'd like to see it.
Because obviously now we've got the sort of, because at the moment we've got obviously micro bangers, you've got the infantry, then the tanks. And I believe the original fight was completely different. You had like Robbins in there as well.
Yes,
but
you did.
But some people are saying that you should go with micros, and I think it's is it something like 1500 or 1600 plus 2 litre or something?
It should be 1600 and 2 litre.
So the 2 litres are going to become the tanks, and the 1600s or 1500s will become the infantry class.
Yeah, and somebody also suggested back to basics, which I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, Civil War. No, I'd say no. I love back to basics.
That is
but
a little bit too far, to be honest.
No, certainly not. I think, but I certainly am for van bangers, but it's not realistic, is it? Let's face it. Moving on, a huge booking list for this Saturday's Rookie Banger World Championship at Ringwood Raceway, presented by Trojan Motorsport. 166 cars currently booked in for that meeting, so if you're down that right way, I'd highly recommend to go. I mean, £20 entry is a bit steep, but then again, if all 166 cars do indeed turn up, it should be a brilliant night of racing. And I think it might be bangers all night as well, which could be brilliant. So 166 cars, can't go wrong there. I don't know how you say this. Is it Ammering? Is that how you say it?
Ammering, yeah.
Ammering?
Yeah, Ammering, yeah.
Just go with it, yeah.
Is to host a national bangers meeting on New Year's Day 2018 with a 600cc format. So that could be quite interesting. Obviously, Ammering's not well known for national banger fixtures, so should be a good day out there. And we finally have a confirmed date for the East Anglian Veterans Meeting in 2018 at Yarmouth, which is now on Sunday the 12th of August. So if you plan on going to that meeting, that is the date to go. So put that in your diaries. And now, Andy, have you got any other news to mention before we carry on?
Yeah, just quickly, obviously, we're talking about Ringwood Rail Final, might be touching a nerve here. Obviously, they've got 165 rookie bangs, which excellent. Well done to everyone going up there that weekend. But, of course, following on after that is the World Final for Speedworth Bangers on Saturday the 18th of November. Has anyone actually seen the booking list today?
Not yet, no, I haven't.
Yes, I have. Some interesting names on there as well, actually, I think.
Well, it's up to a staggering 265 cars.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes!
That's got a big turnout.
Yeah, 64 obviously seeded through to the main World Final itself, with 201 last chance qualifiers, which is guaranteed to have 4 over 50 car heats before the World Final.
I'm not a fan of Ipswich, but I want to go. I'm not a fan of Ipswich, I want to go. That is a blinding turnout. And I was thinking as well earlier, Andy, actually. You know, when the Speedworth Banger World Final was first announced a few years ago now, there was a bit of a backlash about who should host the Rookie Banger World Final, but it's not actually Rookie Bangers anymore, is it, Speedworth? So it's a completely different subject. Now. Yeah, but God, 250 odd cars, that'd be brilliant.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, good luck to all the drivers involved in that, and good luck to both Speedworth and Ringwood, both hosting World Finals, and hope it both goes very successfully in those 2 weekends. As you say, we move on now to our discussion. And my discussion topic, which was interest obviously after the 2 gala weekends at Arlington and Aldershot, was these VW Beetles in banger racing. Are they a good idea or a bad idea? And the reason I brought this topic up, sorry, I'm just saying this topic up, was because it's the only banger I know of to this day that still races with the plastic bumpers on. Good or bad idea?
I'm not going to comment because obviously I'm not a proper banger driver, so I'm not too technical on that side of things. But I'm sort of going at it as sort of, is it a good looking banger? I don't think so. So I don't know. They kind of, when they're stripped on the road, they look pretty ugly, but as a banger they look a bit better, I think. So I don't know. I'm not really too sure how to debate on this one because I'm not obviously a proper banger driver. And
I actually think they look really good as a banger. I'm going to be honest. I was looking at them at Aldershot the other week, and I think it was Paul Cookie.
Yeah.
He's one just black and white, black wheels, bit of silver on them as well. It actually looked a really cool banger, and I was actually thinking I wouldn't mind seeing a field of them go round maybe in the next few years.
It could happen. I wouldn't rule it out.
Exactly. When the likes of Ford and Mondeo become a bit harder to find and all that, and we have the classic car meeting will become Ford Mondeos. But yeah, no. Going back on topic, I think, I'm not too technical with the bumpers and all that, but they look a cool banger in my opinion. I like them.
The reason the bumpers are still allowed on these cars is because, I don't know if any of you have had a look at this, and I have had a look at one myself, is that if you take the front bumper off, which covers most of the front arch and obviously the back arch, and obviously most of the back and front of the car, there isn't actually anything left. There is nothing left. If you take it off, all you're left with is a whopping great hole at the back of it, just underneath the boot, and again at the front where the bonnet is. And that's the reason why the bumpers are left on. But it's just weird that all the rules state that you're not allowed to have plastic bumpers and they all must be removed from the banger, but yet we're allowing a VW Beetle to go round with them completely bolted on.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's. I mean, it depends really, doesn't it? If it's I'm guessing they can get away with it, I suppose. But I certainly think the VW Beetle makes a better looking banger than what it does a road car. Really, so
definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I must admit they do look cool as a banger, so I'm not knocking them or disputing them. A lot of people pleased to say that once this topic actually went up, a lot of people actually answered me. First was Matt Manning, who said no,
straight away.
He said they just don't look like a banger, and in my eyes, seeing a few of them go round, I mean, obviously Sean Baggerly's at Arlington on the Gala Night there at the end of October. He actually did his up like Herbie and actually had Herbie goes back to basics. And
I like that. That's cool.
Cool.
I love that. Yeah,
cool.
It looked cool.
I like that. I'd be happy to see that.
Mike Cottrell also got in touch with us. Said, "Seem quick and seem to last. Yes, they are very strong. Those plastic bumpers." Phil Carter said, "All should be smashed up, hideous-looking cars. That's why they're a banger."
And Ross Sharman said, "Kill it with fire." And I got 3 likes.
Well, Colin Quinnell did that in the first heat at Aldershot, so we'll allow that.
Oh, yeah, he set himself alight, yeah.
Set him on fire on the track.
And Thomas Stevens, just before that, said yes. Paul Ruddick, Chris Parry made it good use of one at Wimbledon.
Yes, he did. I was at that meeting.
Fun to use.
Yeah, he done well.
Actually in unlimited back to basics, whereas the ones we're talking about are just in normal back to basics.
Yeah, I just thought of that actually. Didn't he get a second or third or something? He got quite a high finish in one of the races at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So
it was actually very quick that night as well for an unlimited back to basics.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about that being in the unlimited class. I think that was like March time as well. So done quite well in that Beetle, I think.
So here we go then. Is the Beetle classed as an unlimited back to basic or the normal back to basic in your eyes?
Oh my god! I think could it be both? I don't know. If Chris Parry raced one and he done well, then certainly could be an over.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it's obviously an unders car as well, isn't it? So
yeah, because I've just thought of that, and I can't really work out if there's another over and unders car that you can actually use. I know in some cases a Ford Mondeo maybe, but that's not at all tracks, I don't think. So that could be quite an interesting little topic. I mean, if you've got any ideas on that, leave them in the comments section on our Spreaker now, or do it on Facebook or whatever. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions.
Yeah, and
on that matter.
Going a bit off topic here, but I don't know if you remember, I think it was Lackey 128 took a Bluebird out of the 2006 Unlimited World Final. And he got snapped big time.
Yeah. Yes.
Got snapped big time. So
I remember seeing videos of that.
Obviously, you wouldn't get that in this day and age of national banger racing, but it does sort of happen. You get the sort of smaller cars go out of the big cars, and it's the same. The Beetle, it could be multi-purpose. It could be in both your under 800cc back to basics and the Unlimited. So I think it should be both classes, really, overall.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think, obviously, where it's quite strong with those bumpers on, it might upset some of the Honda boys, so let's put it that way.
Yeah, it could be.
Because we all know how soft they are at the back.
Yeah, and Joey Reynolds, 760, says, they're fucking tall. So, he quite likes them, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's agreed that he hasn't raced one yet. That was the first thing I asked him.
Maybe next year. No. We'll probably have at least 10 fixtures worth at Aldershot next year, plus obviously Eastbourne and wherever else. So maybe next year we might see him out in a Beetle then finally.
Yeah, I think an all VW Beta banger meeting, that'll look good. I think I like your idea on that, Jordan.
Yeah. Thank you.
What about a normal standard back to basic meeting, and they sort of, I wouldn't say a VW Beetle meeting, but a normal back to basic meeting, and you give a bit of extra prize start money for anyone who turns up in a Beetle, then you can have a dedicated Beetle race on the day of the meeting.
Yeah.
So
that could be a good idea.
That could be an idea.
You could even take it further and go the older shape Beetle as well. I know.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, got the old
hard as well. To find, but that could be good. Like classic back to basic meeting.
That's sort of the thing Bill's Brigade Mike would get as well. So
yeah,
he should get one for next year. That'd be cool. Any other comments on that on the VW Beetle?
No, I think that concludes that topic. So again, thank you to everyone that got involved in that. Jordan, we hand over to you for the off-topic section.
Yes, and I'll start with the latest National Hot Rods World Qualifier news for England. Round 7 took place at Hednesford Hills Raceway on Sunday afternoon, where heat wins went the way of 964 Bradley Dines. Heat 2 was won by 22 Richard Adams, both in Ginettas, and the final went the way of the world champion Chris Hurd, with 174 Jason Q coming second on his racing return after getting a 2-meeting ban for having wrong tyre markings or something like that, with Bradley Dines coming in third. There was no actual World Series points update after that meeting, but for anyone that cares, if you go onto nationalhotrods.com, I'm sure it will be on there within the coming days, or if not, on their Facebook. Moving on to this Sunday, at Bellevue, it is the race for the Silver Roof. It is, of course, the Briscoe Formula 1 stock cars and Briscoe Formula 2 stock cars National Points Shootout Series Double Points Grand Finale. Starting with the F1, Stuart Smith Jr. currently leads on 417 points from the world champion Nigel Green on 298. Now, some people may argue that Stuart Smith Jr. has actually already got one hand on that Silver Roof, leading by such a big margin. Nigel Green actually pretty much needs a clean sweep on Sunday to take that Silver Roof, and for Stuart Smith Jr. to have a poor day at the office. But obviously, judging by Stuart's recent performances in the Shootout Series this year, it's highly unlikely. But of course, it is stock car racing, so anything can happen. The Briscoe Formula 2 stock cars, Gordon Moody currently leads the standings on 44 points from Dave Polly in second. Rob Speak is also booked in for that meeting as well. Gordon Moody currently sits on 193 points with Dave Polly on 149. So like I said, you've got a 44 gap between them two. So that F2 battle for the Silver Roof looks a lot closer than the F1s. And obviously, like I said, with Rob Speak booked in, it looks to be a great day of stock car action up in Manchester. It all starts at 3:30 p.m, so if you're up in Manchester and fancy some stock car action, that looks to be a great meeting, personally, in my opinion. So yeah, get yourselves along to that. Obviously, given the time of year, I think that pretty much concludes the Hot Rods and Stock Car news this week. With all the action pretty much coming to a close after this weekend for the F1s and the Hot Rods. So yeah, either to you, Andy, or Matt.
One or the other. Should we move on to the fixtures then, Andy?
Yes, we will indeed. The Saturday night, of course, the 11th of November, of course, the big Ringwood World Final. As we say, 165 cars booked in for that. Have you got anyone that you reckon might win that?
No idea. I don't really follow rookie bangers at Ringwood, I'm afraid. So I've got no... I'm not too fussed, really. It's just a rookie banger World Final. But it should be good. Hopefully plenty of action.
Guaranteed. And Sunday the 12th of November at the Northampton International Raceway is the Unlimited National Banger Tim Day Memorial Meeting. So far, up to 29 cars booked in. Just looking through the booking list, some interesting names on this. Of course, there's Sophie Facey's out there in 186. But has anyone noticed that Lauren Overy, 317,
I didn't notice that, yeah.
1300s?
Yeah, I did notice that, yes. I saw
has
that.
Gone out in an unlimited banger.
Should be interesting. You've got Sophie and her then as well. So you've got two girls out there.
It isn't actually Lauren's first time in an unlimited this season, because I believe she raced at Skegness earlier in the season in one of Jack's Scorpios as well. So, yeah, she obviously knows how to drive, Lauren, so it'll be interesting to see how she gets on this Sunday.
That's interesting. I didn't actually know that. I thought that was Lauren's first time. I'm glad you spotted that.
Nah. I think she raced at Skegness. Don't quote me on this, but I think it may have been the Skegness Track Championship or whatever they call it, the Western or something. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, she raced in that in a used Ford Scorpio.
So interesting to see how they get on with all the big star names out there, including Boxer Jack, Gary Madrick, and many others. As I say, 29 cars up for that at the moment. That all starts at 1:30 on Sunday, the 12th of November at Northampton. And then the following weekend, we move on to Saturday, the 18th of November for the Foxhall Heath Stadium in Ipswich for the Speedworth Banger World Final. As I say, 265 cars on the list. 201 of those are last chance qualifiers on the night, with 64 seeded through to the World Final. And that all starts at 5 p.m. that night. And then the following day, Sunday the 19th of November, Matt, Stand Lake Street Bangers mixed teams.
Yeah, this is to conclude the 2017 season for Street Bangers at Stand Lake. So hoping for a good turnout there. Mixed teams, we're talking sort of guys and girls together on this one. So I think it's teams of 2, I'm not too sure. But yeah, the final Street Banger meeting of 2017 at Stand Lake. I think it could be worth going to. I don't know if I'm going to be going to it, but it should be a good day, hopefully, for the Street Bangers. To conclude what's been a good year, I add, as well, yet again for the Street Bangers. Very good turnouts all year round.
And that concludes fixtures up until tonight's podcast.
We've got one more.
We've got one more.
Oh, we missed one.
We got one more. We got Stoke Unlimited Bangers Pride of the Potteries, which with nearly 60 cars booked in, including the Blues Boys.
Ooh.
So that's
the original Blues Boys.
And the lively as ever, Team Sarah and Filmer, who are always lively, so they'll be good to watch up there as well on the Stoke show.
And they've got Unders Bangers as well, which I believe are fully booked at around 50 or 60 cars. So that should be an overall good meeting up there at Stoke.
Fully booked at 50, 60 bangers. Why are they fully booking it? Just open it up.
I don't know,
I think
no
it's
idea.
There's no such thing as fully booked. Everyone drops out. So there's always 10 or 15 cars that drop out. Just leave it open.
Fully booked at 20 cars.
Over.
Oh. You might get some stick for that one, Andy.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I never believed that when it comes to bangers, there should always be a cap on it. Because there'll always be drivers that drop out on the day, which, things happen, circumstances happen. Yeah. So just leave it open. Let them all turn.
I partly agree with that. I partly agree.
But then I think that day everyone will turn up and you won't have enough pit space. Imagine that.
Yeah, there'll always be pit space somewhere. Open a field next door.
Just cut a tree down. It's fine. Bring them in. Come on. Make room. Squeeze up.
I love how at certain tracks and meetings as well, they say, like, say the meeting's fully booked to so-and-so cars. If you turn up, you'll be turned away. Well, would they really turn somebody away?
No.
I've
never seen anyone say they got turned away because they weren't on the list.
Yeah. You can imagine that.
If we're wrong, if they're wrong, message us on Cage Facebook. We'll accept that.
Oh. And I think that concludes the fixtures, does it? Unless we got any more to add?
Yes, that concludes the fixtures.
Yeah.
And just quickly, I'd like to mention as well, we've started up a Cage Bangers YouTube page, a channel, shall I say. We've hit over 40 subscribers at the moment. We've got plenty of content on there, including some podcast best bits, some meet and highlight videos, and some in-car videos as well. So subscribe to Cage Bangers on YouTube.
Yeah, when you say you actually put up best bits from the podcast, you put up the biggest silence pause we had in the whole of our series.
Yeah, the most awkward moment of the podcast ever. And of course, we've got the interview with Stephen Bolton, so that's check it out.
That is important.
Yes, that is. And as well, can I just add, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, we have hit 5,000 likes on our Facebook page.
I forgot about that.
Yes!
Thank you, everyone.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, I forgot to add that onto the list, actually. Yeah, that's a thank you to everyone who's obviously liked the page. I think the next target now is 10,000, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But that's in 14 months, if I'm right in saying, Matt, that you've started this.
It's not
5,000 likes.
Yeah, yes. I think it...
Round of applause, I think.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased. Obviously, there's been slow days with the page getting likes, and there's been some really fast days as well. Obviously, certain weekends when you've got lots of meetings going on and we post plenty of content, we seem to get more shares and obviously more likes, that kind of thing. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's liked the page over the last 14 months, and hopefully we can hit 10,000 next year, maybe.
Yep, thank you all so much for your support. It really does mean a lot to us here at Caged. And is there anything else we want to add to this podcast, gentlemen?
Not too sure. No, not too sure.
Don't think so.
Other than maybe the next podcast might be either 2 or 3 weeks' time, because obviously we're getting to that dead end of the year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll do that one after the weekend of the 18th and 19th of November.
Could do, yes.
So 23rd of November, we'll be back with you for another podcast to take you through those meetings you mentioned on the fixtures.
And then after that, next podcast after that will be reviewing the Unlimited UK Open Championship from Ringwood, which should be another good meeting as well.
Yes, indeed. Champions of Champions is also on the last weekend of November, 25th of November as well. So we'll bring you reports from that as well.
And that's it.
I think that concludes tonight's podcast. A big thank you to Jordan Hollands. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, everyone, for listening yet again. And, see you next time.
Yep, from all of us here at Cage, Full Throttle. Until next time, stay safe out there. Bye-bye for now.